Ever pondered who was the man named Alexander the Great? A name that echoes through the corridors of history, evoking tales of grandeur and conquest. Alexander, a figure shrouded in both mystery and legend, hailed from a time when empires were built on the strength of a sword and the courage of a single man. Born in the heart of Macedonia, his story unfolds amidst the backdrop of the 4th century BC, an era when the world was still carving out its contours. The mere mention of his name brings to mind images of vast armies, unparalleled bravery and territories stretching beyond the horizon. Yet, who was this man truly? A warrior, a visionary, or perhaps a tyrant? The answers lie shrouded in the intricate tapestry of history, waiting to be unraveled. So let us embark on a journey back in time, back to the days of gold and glory. Join us as we delve into the life of this legendary figure. Born to King Philip II and Queen Olympias, Alexander's life was destined for greatness from the start. Nestled in the regal surroundings of the Macedonian palace, young Alexander's childhood was anything but ordinary. The son of a formidable king and a fiercely ambitious queen, the seeds of leadership were sown in his life early on. His relationship with his parents was a complex tapestry. His father, King Philip, was a hardened warrior and ruler, whose influence on Alexander was profound. From him, Alexander inherited a thirst for conquest and a keen understanding of military strategy. Queen Olympias, on the other hand, was a woman of strong character and mystical beliefs. She instilled in Alexander a sense of his divine destiny, a belief that would go on to shape his future in unimaginable ways. The palace corridors served as a cradle of education for Alexander. From a young age, he was surrounded by scholars and philosophers, receiving an education fit for a king. But the highlight of his learning years was undoubtedly his tutelage under the renowned philosopher Aristotle. Aristotle, with his vast knowledge and wisdom, left an indelible mark on young Alexander. He introduced him to a world beyond the confines of the palace, a world of philosophy, arts, sciences, and most importantly, the idea of a unified world state. Even as a child, Alexander displayed signs of extraordinary leadership and ambition. He tamed the untamable horse, Bucephalus, at just 12 years old, demonstrating his courage and determination. His competitive spirit was evident in everything he did, whether it was sports or studies. He constantly sought to outdo others, particularly his peers, and even his own father. Even in his youth, Alexander was shaping up to be a force to be reckoned with. His early years laid the foundation for the great leader he was to become, a leader whose name would echo through the annals of history as Alexander the Great. Fate took a turn when King Philip was assassinated, leaving Alexander to ascend the throne at just 20 years old. The circumstances surrounding Philip's death were shrouded in mystery, but the result was clear. Alexander was now the king of Macedonia. Yet, his ascension was far from smooth. His right to the throne was challenged, conspiracies were afoot, and revolts ignited across the kingdom. Despite these tumultuous beginnings, Alexander demonstrated a prowess beyond his years. He squashed rebellions with a firm hand, instilled loyalty among his men, and began to reshape the kingdom in his vision. His early achievements were nothing short of remarkable, as he unified a fractured Macedonia and laid the groundwork for an empire. Yet, for Alexander, this was just the beginning. His ambitions were much grander, his dreams much wider. Alexander was now king, but his vision extended far beyond the borders of Macedonia. With the crown came a grand vision to create an empire that spanned the world. And so, Alexander embarked on an ambitious journey, a series of military campaigns that would etch his name into the annals of history. The Persian Empire, an imposing force that had long overshadowed the Greek city-states, was his first target. But Alexander was not deterred. He saw not an insurmountable enemy, but a stepping stone towards his grand dream. It was here that the world first witnessed Alexander's military prowess in full display. The Battle of Gaugamela, a confrontation that would decide the fate of the Persian Empire, served as a testament to Alexander's tactical brilliance. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander refused to back down. Instead, he relied on innovative strategies that caught the Persians off guard. He utilized the phalanx, a formation of foot soldiers armed with long spears, in a way that was never seen before. He masterfully manipulated the battlefield, drawing the Persian cavalry away and creating a gap in their lines, which he then exploited. This was a turning point in Alexander's quest. His victory at Gaugamela marked the end of the Persian Empire and the beginning of his reign as a global power. But Alexander did not stop there. His undefeated record in battle only fueled his desire to expand his empire further. He marched eastward, extending his dominion over lands uncharted by Greeks. From Egypt to India, he brought vast territories under his rule. Each new conquest was a testament to his military genius and indomitable spirit. He integrated the local cultures into his empire, a strategy that not only ensured the stability of his rule, but also facilitated the spread of Hellenistic culture across the known world. Yet, the conquests were not without their costs. The constant battles and marches took a toll on his men. Many questioned his insatiable desire for conquest, but Alexander remained undeterred. His vision was clear, a world united under one rule, his rule. Alexander's military campaigns were more than just a display of power. They showcased his ability to adapt to changing circumstances, his willingness to learn from different cultures, and his unyielding determination to achieve his vision. His innovative strategies, coupled with his charismatic leadership, allowed him to maintain an undefeated record throughout his life, a feat that remains unparalleled in history. His journey, however, was not just about conquering lands. It was about pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible, about challenging the status quo, and about daring to dream big. And in doing so, Alexander did not just create an empire, he shaped the course of history. Alexander's military genius led him to create one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. His story serves as a reminder that with ambition, innovation, and unwavering determination, one can indeed conquer the world. But even the greatest of conquerors must meet their end. In the final years of his life, Alexander the Great found himself at the zenith of his power. Yet, as he looked out across the vast empire he'd constructed, he could not have known that his time was limited. In the summer of 323 BCE, Alexander succumbed to a mysterious illness. His sudden demise sent shockwaves throughout his empire, leaving a power vacuum in its wake. His generals, once united under his rule, turned against each other, sparking a series of wars that would eventually fragment his empire. Alexander's death marked the end of an era, but his legacy was far from over. He had changed the world in ways that would echo through the centuries. From the sands of Egypt to the mountains of Persia, he introduced Greek culture and ideas, sparking a period of Hellenistic influence that reshaped the ancient world. His military tactics, marked by swift and decisive movements, revolutionized warfare, and his strategies are still studied in military academies today. His vision of a united world, where people of different cultures and backgrounds could live together, was revolutionary in his time, and remains an ideal that we strive for even today. Yet, it is not just his accomplishments that make him the Great. His ambition, his courage, his relentless pursuit of glory, these are the traits that have immortalized him. His story, a tale of a man who dared to dream bigger than anyone before him, continues to inspire us. Alexander's life was a comet, streaking across the sky, burning brightly and leaving a trail that would illuminate the path for those who followed. His legacy is not just in the empire he built, but in the ideas he spread, in the world he changed, and in the stories that have been told and retold, generation after generation. Alexander the Great, a name etched in history, continues to inspire and intrigue us even today. So, who was Alexander the Great? A question that stirs the echoes of history, a query that sends us back more than 2,000 years. Alexander was a man of unmatched military prowess. His strategies and tactics, honed on the fields of battle, reshaped warfare, and have been studied by generals ever since. His ambition was a flame that could not be quenched, leading him from his native Macedonia to the far reaches of the known world. But his impact extended beyond the battlefield. His vision of a united world, a fusion of cultures and philosophies, marked the beginning of the Hellenistic era. His influence touched upon every aspect of life, from art and science to religion and politics. Alexander the Great was not just a king or a conqueror, he was a man with a vision that changed the world forever. His legacy lives on, reminding us that greatness is not merely about conquest, but about the power of ideas and the courage to see them through.